Why, greetings everyone! It is Gleekon and I'm here once more with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On this show, we are going to continue our long playthrough of Classic Era, a completionist run where we do every single quest, no matter how absurd it might be to do it, even the nookiest, cranniest little repetitive quests. We do it on both Alliance and Horde, and the few quests who are tied to classes we don't have, we still cover and review those, talk about them, read the dialogue. The greater run of the show also covers every book and video and side piece of media in the game, and we've been doing that. We've covered everything that's canon up to Classic, and whether that's Chronicles or whether that is BlizzCon magazines, and we have covered a lot of the non-canon stuff too. At least once weekly we go back and revisit some of the things that are now defunct or non-canon, such as the Burning Crusades Town Hall's version of the history of the Blood Elves, which is what we covered this week. We also have a Patreon video, so if you like what you see, the Patreon channel has the same service given to Assassin's Creed. We're going to take our enhancement shaman here to try to wrap up Feralas' Horde run now, so stay a while. I'm on the fence. It's going to be a tight squeeze. That's what she said. If I want to finish this zone in one episode today, most notably because travel's gonna hit us a little bit here. Actually, I have a couple things I can sell. I have an empty slot right there.
Peace, friend. Looking for something.
These things were not as good as what we had. That ring of subtlety was somewhat intriguing. Why am I in Ashenvale if we're doing Feralas? It's because there is one Felwood quest. We have not unlocked any way into Felwood. It's at the north of Felwood. There is a flight path here for Blood Venom Post. We are going to walk our way up. So this is part of why today's episode is going to take a little bit longer, because there's one out-of-area quest to do. There was another one that we did on a previous episode for Hinterlands. The Alliance did hit us a lot worse than the Horde, so I had originally thought, hey, maybe the Horde will be able to finish this a little faster than the Alliance account did. But it's just not panned out that way because there's a little bit more to do. One thing that really slowed us down yesterday, so if you watched yesterday, I guess my apologies if you're not into this, but we basically spent the whole episode grinding the repeatable quest here. We did it once, and then we did the repeatable version once, because when I say we do everything in the game, no matter how obscure, that includes we hit each repeatable quest at least one time as well. That means that we had to, this quest, which is already very long and grindy, we had to do a slightly shorter but still very long and grindy version. So almost the entirety of the hour and a half was tied into this. We wrapped it up by dropping off the collection of quests into Orgrimmar and making our way over here to Fel, as close as we can get to Felwood as possible. The good thing is this will open up a flight path for us in the future. We are not going to be hitting up this tunnel because we are currently going to be hostile with all of the timber maw that exist up there. Felwood's a little bit long. It's kind of like Darkshore, where you have this long thing. At least now we have a mount, or a couple other zones that are just really long. A lot of the Elven zones are designed this way, where they're long and narrow, and there's just no way around it. At least with Felwood, it's all one big road, kind of like Feralas is very similar too. Feralas has a lot more carved areas off to the side. Felwood has a lot less. Felwood is really concentrated, considering this is the next zone we're going to do. There's a small pocket right here, which is mostly concerned with going up into this area to fight the forces of Jadenar. There are, if you are Horde, if you're Alliance, there's a couple other Night Elf quests in here too that have you going all the way up here, I think, to fight some kind of forces. And some other satyrs. And then getting like a treant ally. And if you are a Horde, you have a couple quests right here having you go to kill a few of the satyrs. Same kind of concept. The second and most time-consuming portion of Fellwood, because that's pretty quick, like that's one episode's worth of content. The second is the fact that there's the Timber Mall Hold series of quests. So there's just a couple quests, a few like 2-3 quests here, 2-3 quests here. There are repeatable quests to turn in feathers to these guys, and with the primary reasoning being that's how you get rep with the Timber Mall. I think up through friendly, you can kill the Furbolgs for 5 rep a kill, and there's about a 25-ish% chance, maybe a 1/3 chance that they also drop a feather. Once you've quested for these guys, and the feather is a 5 feather turn in for 50 reps, so essentially every feather is worth 10 rep. So each of these guys is worth somewhere around 8 rep per kill if you think about it mathematically. If you're a human, as we are on one of our characters, that's 10% less in that journey. But you have to get, the reason why I say that is, in doing the questing and the normal killing, you can get out of hated into hostile pretty easily. That'll just kind of happen organically. But as we do these quests here, there's a second pocket of them up there, and there are some ritual totems. There's also a pocket tied into the Winterfell. That's actually more appropriately tied into Winter Spring if you wanted to continue to look at that, because there are 3 nodes of Timber Mall Hold. There's the node that leads here to Fellwood. There is a node that pops up into Moonglade, and then there's a node that goes into Winter Spring. So the Moonglade node is really irrelevant because there's not questing that happens there. But these 2 nodes essentially have the Furbolgs at their gate that allow you to grind their rep. Why would you grind their rep? Well, one, you want to get at least into neutral with them, ideally, in a perfect world, because that would allow you to easily traverse the Timber Mall tunnel without worrying about aggroing the actual Furbolgs within. So it creates a nice open pathway that can connect you from Moonglade to Winterspring to Fellwood. So it provides a safe network. If you get that rep up to friendly, there are some vendors and trainers within that can train some pretty useful stuff. I do not believe there are other quests tied to these guys, but that's something we will have to research as the game goes along. At each reputation level, past friendly, honored, revered, and exalted, there are things you can get. I'm pretty sure honored has some worthwhile things. Revered, I'm not sure so much. Exalted, I know what it gives you because I once upon a time I did do this on a character where I sat here for days and ground out this reputation and got myself to exalted. So one of my characters that was active in the Burning Crusade did this. That character is no longer exists. That account was banned and abandoned by me. Even though I did win my appeal because my account was hacked. It wasn't me. I swear. That's not where we want to go. Jadenar is where we will quest. We need to go cut one over. We're just going to cut over one time so that we can get the flight path. That's it. I just want easier travel to here in the future. But you get this trinket. It is a legendary trinket. I don't know that it comes with any stats. Not 100% sure. We can kind of research this if we want, or we can save it for when we're actually doing Timber Mall grinding ourselves. But the stats, it allows you to summon your own Timber Mall Furbolg, who is a not insignificant ally. Now, in retail, late game, yes, he's insignificant. There's no point, doesn't matter. You're also starting to get to end game where this zone regularly has mobs in the 50s, the mid 50s. So, gone is the era where we are going to grossly out-level our guys. It's good for our XP. My both my main characters are 58, and my horde is pushing 59. But all that being said, if it's not tied to quests, we don't need it. So that's, remember, this is a lore run. This is not a min-maxing
would you like to fly
gear
to?
run. Show me where I can fly. All right, so now we've connected Felwood to the rest of the world. So what we're doing, the only thing we care about on this particular run, our measure of success is doing every quest in the game so that we can have every bit of dialogue and lore in the game. The power is secondary. It makes the lore journey easier. It is not, there's no need for us to bust our heads against the wall trying to get rank 14 in PvP. We do not need to repeatedly run the higher end instances. We do not need to run raids repeatedly, only insofar as a raid may be tied to a quest. There are some quests that may not be worth it, but I'm going to try to not let that. Like, let's say there is a technical quest that you get for turning in a certain relic or trinket. Or acquiring one from grinding materials in a raid like Zul'Grub or Ahn'Qiraj. Well, that's going to be where things are going to get hard for me, because that's a lot of time spent for something that lore-wise is actually not important. It might be a single line of dialogue that says, like, oh, good job, the Zandalari are impressed with you. You know, something like that. So that's a real difficult call for me. And we're going to judge those when we get there. Most likely, as we get to those stages of the game, we're going to start shifting over to retail, and then we'll make a weekly episode where we slowly work on grinding toward, or pugging raid, you know, whatever. Before we switch to that, we'll try to at least pug raids to get the content needed for doing the different raids. That we will do. I'm sure we can get a friendly like raid pug if I just explain, like, hey, I am a noob. Do not expect me to be this big pumper. What I need is a raid team to carry me through so that I can experience the content once. Just once. Just want to experience it once. I will do my best. I'm not a slouch. All right. So the reason why we will have to grind this out. We have to grind at least to neutral. That is not insignificant. It's a lot better than the overall grind, but it is still over 3,000 rep points of grinding at essentially 7-8 rep per timber maul. So you're talking about at least 400 kills. Why are we here? Actually, I'll just start doing it before I wrap that up. So it is to kill 400 or 500 of a mob is not nothing. That is long. It will most likely take us a minimum of one episode, maybe more than one. We did it similarly with the Gelkis and what's the other one? Whatever the two factions are in Deathless. Because when I said at the top of the show that we do everything, we do it as crazy as like to a crazy level. That's what I meant. We will go and do this rep grind because for one reason and one reason only. It doesn't matter about the tunnel. I don't care about the reputation. We won't actually unlock anything for getting to neutral. It's because you cannot turn in quests to the guys inside the tunnel unless you're neutral. And there is one quest, Winterfell Ritual Totem, Winterfell, or I mean the other one. I mean that one too, but Deadwood Ritual Totem. You cannot turn that quest in without grinding, without being at least neutral with them. Now, when we get to Winterfell, I will, towards the end of the game, I will examine, I'll look too, because the problem is that Questy doesn't list a lot of the quests as either one. It actually has a separate faction called Timbermall Hold. So if you want to actually use Questy, or not Questy, I'm sorry, Wowhead, to look up which quests do you need to do in the area, that's what you have to do. You've got to look up Timbermall Hold quests. Also, since so many of them are tied to reputation, they will be hidden. Questy would not show them unless you were of the requisite reputation. So we have to double check to make sure none of that's happening. So, Fellwood Witch, we're looking at maybe 2 zones of content between those 2 pieces, and I didn't get to the 3rd thing yet. That's going to add probably another 2 episodes on. So, I'm just grinding. We're probably up to 4 episodes, and those I'll have to come up with something to talk about, because it's a grind. Even when I do it on my own, I do something else. I put on a show in the background, like a show like the one you're listening to. Something I can just listen to on YouTube. I don't really have to watch it very clearly. I will play a game on my phone. But again, it has to be one where I can still do what you see me doing right now, so I can't really play games on my phone. Unless it's a real passive style game. But we won't do that, and we won't be able to look up other lore and read other lore, so we'll have to come up with some free conversation topics. That's what we'll do. Alright, but war bear leather, that's cool. Let's look instead at what are we doing right now and why. So we were sent on a quest called, it's the strongest quest in Fellwood. I don't see it on my list. Oh, here it is. The Strength of Corruption. So this guy at Camp Mojache, this is a horde-only quest, sends you out to kill 12 Angercrawl Grizzlies and 12 of these Fellpaw Ravagers. So as you saw, the Grizzlies mechanic is that he will tendon rip you, essentially hamstringing you. Let's see what the... And he becomes enraged towards the end. The Furbolgs have mechanics as well, which we'll talk about when we actually do them. We'll have a lot of time to talk about the Furbolgs, so I'm not worried about it. I didn't see anything special from the wolf right there. He might, that's not to say he doesn't have it. Look, we just got a patch of tainted skin. Binds when picked up. What? Oh, you know what? We need to save that, because I believe that is tied to the corruption. We don't actually need to save it. There is that brings me to the 3rd thing, which is going to probably only take us maybe part of an episode. So looking at, even despite this zone being so short, it's probably going to take us at least 5 episodes anyway. And that's because there is also a line of cleansing the corruption of Fellwood, and cleansing it in every single way possible. So there are all sorts of flowers and things around, and you can go around cleansing those. What is this? It's a disease. Alright, it is time for us to drink and be merry and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and eat one of our little sausages. And we will also... I mean, I only have these 12. And I'm not going to get any right now, but whatever. I'll drink it. So the patch of tainted skin is an example. So you can go around cleansing, and there's all sorts of things to cleanse. But every profession also has a way to cleanse. And you can look at it. The vast majority on Wowhead is corrupted. So there are different... plants you can find, which is a big part of it, but you can get the salves used to do all of your cleansing by mining, skinning, disenchanting, gathering, yeah, basically everything. The only thing I would guess is maybe not is maybe you don't get it through like tailoring. So maybe that's not a thing. But obviously disenchanting, they just paired it up. That's the thing. That's annoying. So that's one thing these wolves do. They give you a disease that makes you take more damage. So I don't want that. These fell paw ravagers. And we still have to kill more bears too. What else do we have? We know it just said through mining, obviously. So the crafting ones, I'm guessing no, but the 4 gathering ones. So disenchanting, counting as that. Skinning the animals. Collecting them from the plants and collecting them from the mining. So I have all of those. We have all of those. We could potentially do it on camera. Or I might just read it because it's really not a big deal. We'll just do the 2 that are appropriate to our character. Because we're not gonna, obviously, like, we're not going to go learn mining so that, and then level it up so that we can mine appropriately like here. I will have done it because I do have, my other 2 characters are a disenchanter and a miner. Actually, we have a miner. It's a disenchanter. What was the other one? Herbalism. My other 2 characters are disenchanter and herbalism. So those, they will be done, I assure you. If we really, really want to, I could go over to the other accounts and do it on camera real quick. It will not be a big deal. But notice we are getting these patch of tainted skin. So I don't know how we match that up, but I'm assuming this has something to do with somehow you turn in these tainted skin to get the selves, is my guess. And we will need these selves because that's how you're going to run and do all the different various cleansings that we need to do. When you do the cleansings, it turns the plants into a cleansed version, and then the plant is available to loot, and they are pretty decent. They are either, so far they seem to be foods. I've looted a couple that people have left behind playing around. I got one that was on par with like a glossy mite fish, like a food that gives you an instant well-fed buff for stamina. Or maybe it was stamina and spirit, so either way, it's on par with some of the fish that we found. But you could also sit and eat it, and then I found another one that acted almost like a potion. It was a one, it would give you a nice big boost of healing. But then it would go on a cooldown, much like a potion. It might even have been tied on to the same cooldown as a potion. I haven't really experimented with it very much. Some kind of whatever. So what we will do is be going around and getting these sort of buffs that sit. They don't expire, so they can sit in your inventory and help your runs out. So that's what we'll be doing at some point. And just getting the salves, probably not going to be that bad. Going around and finding the different corrupted versions of everything. We'll use some maps on Wowhead for looking for spawn points and stuff. Like there, no, that's not one. You can tell them. We've seen it. I mean, you can see some of them. They're pretty obvious. They stand out. They have a little gear on them. They're clickable. Oh, he gives you a knockdown and a low swipe, which is just basically a 10 kind of thing. And he goes into a rage. Like, he's doing a lot of mechanics. I don't know what that wolf does other than potentially inflict you with a disease, but maybe that's worse because not all classes. It's a bad disease and not all classes have the ability to fix diseases. I already have 3 now tainted skins. There are these ironbark creatures. They're a good, I believe they are a good pet if you're a hunter and you're interested in getting a bird. Alright, so yeah, this is what this quest I knew was going to not be short. So I was worried, and I can tell you right now just on the amount of time it's taking to do this quest, and we're going to have to travel back. And I had other things I wanted us to do, such as go into Desolus and pick up the Maraudon quests, and I wanted to go to Badlands and get some more leather working for us done, but I don't want to do that until the end. And so there are just other things I want to do, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So now I'm gonna call it that. I'm pretty sure, just based on the timing of this is gonna take us. This is gonna. Oh, there's a corrupted wind blossom. So this is probably the most common one. You see them all over where they really stand out. So I'm guessing you would come up and use one of the salves on them, and it would turn it into a cleansed wind blossom. So it's technically considered a quest. We're gonna have to find all the different corrupted flowers and explore that. And I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 quests that send you into the caves that I haven't done at the end of this corruption line. So we shall see. But yeah, so I'm predicting around 5 or so, but I'm not done with Fellwood, and it's not happening at a good rate because I am just about done with the grind though. I've fully done the level working, the Timber Mall grind is done on my Alliance character, and I'm down to like 300 rep. I'm kind of walking the tightrope because I got overzealous and died, and my durability is like really low. So I'm trying to thread that needle to try to get 300 more rep at 7 8 a kill. So that's going to be a lot. That's like 40 more kills probably, or at least 30. Can I get 30 more kills when I'm at like 13% durability and some of my gear is borderline about to break? Maybe. So down here, the Alliance have their one little flight path, so you do have to be careful they don't do too close to the Alliance zone here. Why are we doing it? Okay, I told you he sent us to kill it, but why did he do it? He said he's a hunter, and he saw... it's impossible... Is it possible to turn the battle by knowing your enemy well? So he knows in Fellwood they have a... We know... I guess maybe he's wanting to fight Fell, but he also thinks they're stronger. So I guess this is just him saying like, hey, you're gonna have to fight. There's a demonic influence out there. I don't know why. Or maybe he's just saying that we fight these beasts. As a hunter, I fight these beasts. Either way, he's sending us out there to gain knowledge of when we fight them, in the hopes that he'll become a better fighter just by us telling him about it. Seems thin. Really what it serves is a horde breadcrumb to go explore Fellwood. That's what it's really about. So, fine by me. It's good rep. I mean, it's good experience. We're getting 400 experience. We just leveled up last time. We only have 4 levels to go. It's giving us some leather, getting us out of the house. It's fine. As far as time consuming goes, setting us out here. Yeah, so I think otherwise Fellwood would probably be like a 2 to 3. Maybe to be conservative, like a 3-episode zone, which is pretty short. Most of our episodes take 5 or 6. If it wasn't for the fact that Timber Mall hold, the rep grind is there, so it's going to manufacture a zone that is 5 or 6 long, just like everything else. Which is kind of good. We are really butting up against where I'm at, so we're getting... I keep saying this, I've been saying it for a long time. We're getting close. If we get to a point where I haven't finished the zone ahead in time, then we're going to have to enter contingency plans where I swap over and go back to doing more lore. It's not the end of the world, and if I run out of appropriate lore, I would have to figure out other content. Either we do episodes where we start playing retail, or I switch over and start giving you guys some of the Assassin's Creed stuff, because I have a backlog. I could put some of those previous episodes out that I've already given kind of like an original access on Patreon. Dang it, oh, man, I wasn't really paying attention. This is kind of a little tricky. Might have to pop a potion on this fight. Since I screwed it up. Now I feel like I also need to maybe use my... Oh gosh. There we go. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping my mana would kick up enough and I'd be able to use this to start regenerating my mana some. Since I'm slow playing this fight here. There we go. I needed a good Wind Fury crit like that. Alright, that's the last bear we have to kill. I guess it's gonna be drinking another moonberry juice. We still need 3 more wolves, and then we're good to go. So then, after we get these wolves, we're going to go back here, and then fly back to Camp Mojache, turn in the quest, and then we're going to come out, and we're going to work on these Yeti, and we're going to kind of see our time from that point. Where are we at right now? We're only at about a half an hour, so we're just going to vibe it. Just going to vibe it out. We're going to be at somewhere around 40-ish minutes, 45 minutes by the time we finish this quest and get going. And then if we go do the Yetis, that gets us just a pinch over an hour. Yeah, we're just going to vibe it out. Those Yetis, there's potential for grind there too, so... the good thing is, well, I don't think they're going to be much weaker than what we're doing right now. This is probably the strongest. They might be a little weaker than this. Get 2 more. Now, as far as our character goes, we're getting near the end. All we have is, we're going to get, for the last 4 levels, just a 2% increase to our healing each time. We have healing, strengthening coming up. That's it. Oh man, I had the first time ever. This stung me. I had a dad moment last night. Yesterday I talked so much about my personal life, and I know that gets really short. So I'm gonna cut this really short, but I just wanted to say. So I talked yesterday about a game I was considering playing with my son, a game called Valheim. I told him to look into it because I'm trying to find a game. I like to find games from time to time. There's another one. 2 Wind Blossoms side by side. They spawn on top of each other. I try to find things, as a dad, you got to try to find things to do with your kids. It's part of the job. And there's a guy that I know. We don't work together, but we run a club together. I chair a club called All Pro Dads. I do it once a month where I'll have a meeting and I get like-minded dads, and we just try to foster relationships with our kids. The kids really like it. You have some food, you do a couple games, and then you kind of do the TED Talky stuff, and I lead it. Just like a secular, just not it's just it's a good positive vibe thing. And the kids are all teenagers, and it's just whatever. But one of the dads said something to me one time that really resonated with me. I was having my current son, my youngest son is 14, almost 15, and that's a tough age to raise a boy. It's a tough age to really raise any kid because you are, as a parent, as a human being, you're dealing with this moment in time where your baby children are biologically programmed to be parent-centric, and secondarily adult-centric, adult authority figure. It makes sense. Their brains are programmed to defer to and seek to please the adults that take care of them. So it's why in some levels it's easy. There are certain elements of being a teacher of elementary kids that are easier, and it's why parenting is so joyous of young kids. Now, don't get me wrong. they're a pain in the butt. They're a lot of work, and little kids can be monsters too, and not everybody is equipped equally. But I've, as a man that's been around the block with 4 kids and that has seen a lot of things, and my sister's a teacher, and so I know, I've worked a lot with this stuff, and this is just my particular experience and hot take, and I feel pretty strongly about it. But when they reach that middle school age, adolescence, young teenagehood, there's a shift that fully goes on in the brain that makes them completely devalue all of that. And instead, biologically, they start looking for a tribe. They want to find a little pack. They look for their own peers, and then their social group and their peers becomes the number one thing that they seek to please. That's all they care about, is that social group. And later on, then you become an adult and things balance out. You have more self-worth and you have a stronger self-identity. And while these loyalties might matter, loyalty to your friend group, loyalty to your authority figures, loyalty to your family, they're strongly petered out to instead loyalty to the people you feel protective of. But you can diversify out and make these choices and analyze and self-reflect. You're not doing that when you're a kid. When you're a little kid, you just want to please mommy, daddy, the parents.
Where would you like to fly to?
And when you're a teenager, then those things, and it's almost suddenly jarring. Almost overnight, it seems like you go from your little baby that wants to curl up with you and watch shows and thinks you're the coolest thing in the world and listens and respects you, to someone that scoffs at you and wants to run around screaming chicken jockey at a screen with a bunch of other screaming pimple-faced mouth breathers. So, and social media, I really don't think is like causing this or is the death of this. It's just a tool. They want the same thing. Adolescents still just want that. It's just that all of their peers are doing that, and that's a tool. It enters their lexicon. It's how they interact. When I was a kid, you had to get a gang of guys together and go play some sports or ride bikes or explore, or to get that freedom. Now they all just put on a headset and they're there. So it's just a different flavor. I have a lot of maybe not popular hot takes on my views on AI and social media and my unwillingness to demonize anything like that, and instead put the onus on us as a society and as individuals to adapt and make the most and optimize those facets of our society. My point to all of this is my son is in that age, and I've been expecting it and I've been noticing it. But for the first one card up my sleeve that I've always had, was the game. If I could get my son on a new game, I'd get him for at least one day. He was always willing to jump in and try a game. So I talked to him about this game. He wanted it. I told him I was interested in playing it with him. He said it sounded really cool. I bought the game, and then I bought him you can gift someone a game on Steam. I bought it for him on Steam and gifted it to him. And then I was like, hey, he was taking a shower, he got out of the shower, I'm like, hey, I bought that game we were talking about, do you want to play for 30 minutes or so and just get going, just try it out with me? And I gifted it to you, I put it on your computer, it's a really fast download, blah blah blah. He's like, well, my friends and I are playing, we're gonna be playing a game. So I got totally shut down. Dad got shut the F down. That's the first time in my life where, with this child, that even my trump card wasn't good enough. I mean, sure, I could have forced him and put the hammer down his deck, but no, you're gonna come play. That's about. So Wah. Cry a tear for GleeCon. All right, so we're gonna go turn this in now. Like I said, we got some time ahead of us. We have the Timber Mall rep. I think tomorrow we'll. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm kind of on the fence. Tomorrow I'm either gonna drop another short lore, or I'm gonna drop a Patreon episode. I already did one this week, so I don't necessarily need to. Either way, I probably will drop a short lore. I think that's most likely what I'm leaning towards. So we'll get that, and then that leads me for the weekend. We'll open up this zone, and then we'll be ready to start Maraudon. Actually, before we do Maraudon, I think Maraudon will allow us to crack open Chronicles for the first time in a long time. So, we're on, I want to say, the 3rd volume of Chronicles. If you look at I'd have to look at the playlist, but I'm pretty sure we're on Chronicles Volume 3, which really jumps through all the World of Warcraft. Chronicles Volumes 1 is, like, the ancient history of WoW. Chronicles Volume 2 really dealt with Draenor and what led to the opening of the Dark Portal. And then Chronicles Volume 3 is really all of the World of Warcraft franchises up to maybe Mists of Pandaria, somewhere around there. And I don't know if there's going to be a Warcraft, if there's a Chronicles 4 or not. I don't have it. If there is, I'll need to get it. But we will take a pause on Sunday and we'll actually read that. And then Monday, so over the next few days, I'm not going to get a ton of this from me, because Monday I'll probably drop another Patreon, another shorty. So finally next week on like a Tuesday, as we get close to, say, like the 4th of July, I'll start trying to run Maraudon, and that will give me time to have hopefully finished Felwood and be on to working Ajara. One thing my plan was to kind of stop. Like I said, I need a contingency plan. My plan was to start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. Instead of, normally I would play other games or I would just watch shows, is to play WoW. Play my dry run account to use any free time I might have, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or when my wife goes to work. So that's like my nights to play around. But what they have been sucked up with this week is that Timber Mall. Actually, Monday I mentioned it, I think yesterday. I had a really, really bad sinus this week, the first few days this week, and I don't know if I had a sinus infection, if it was just allergies out of control. But Monday I just felt terrible, so I didn't even play. I just like laid around and dozed and played on my phone. Tuesday, I did the entirety of the Alliance grind in one go, and yesterday I got it all except 300 done, which that speaks to like how methodical I am, because my first one was on a human, which would give me 300 less rep to need to grind, and like I eked out the 300 that I needed. I mean everything, and then I was like, I gotta throw in the towel. I can't do this last 300 last night, which that's funny. I didn't think about that till right now. But that'll be finished today. I'll finish that throughout the day, get that turned in, and then I'll be ready to start moving on. Like I showed you on Wowhead here, that'll get me done with this chunk, which is really a chunk of... I'll be done with the Speak to Safia, which is like a breadcrumb that takes you through into Winterfell, but we won't really be doing it. Winterspring, I mean. And then I should get the ability to start. I had a little bit of a later start today, and I made a long video, but I should still get a few of these cleansing Fellwoods, and every single one of these is really a yellow. So yes, they're all individual. They do all represent things. Some of them I won't be able to do, like I said, if it's like being hunting, whatever. I don't know. Like, let's look at the skinning. Yeah, see, if you get 5 patches of tainted skin, it will give you 2 cells. Gotcha. So, allows possessing... So this will allow me to So salvia hunting, I'm guessing we just get that from the mobs. That's cool. I don't know what we disenchant. All of those things I'll figure out as I go. And it'll just be like whatever your gathering thing is, I'll put that all as one. So it's really gonna, like a big chunk of these, like when I do the gathering one, well, there's 4 and there's 2 versions of each. So that's really one line that will be taking up 8 quest spots for me. That'll really jump through because there's a total of 88 quests. Well, that'll take up, you know, almost 10% of our quests in just that one line.
Something special.
All right, I'm gonna sell a lot of this stuff to them. I'm so used to on my other run, I do. I don't need big claws. Maybe I do. Oh no. I don't need that. Werebear leather, we do want. This is the account. Do I need red wolf meat? Nah. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean some of that stuff up, but like I said, we're gonna work on leatherworking
Listen
before
to
we
the
go out.
stories of an elder, adventurer.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna finally turn in a quest.
It sounds from your descriptions as if the creatures show a mindless ferocity. Stay alert, adventurer. It would be in your best interest to learn more of the corruption. Always know your enemy.
And that's it. So it was, as you can see, it was nothing other than like a breadcrumb to go to Felwood. So, yeah. So we just did Strength of Corruption. That's the one I was like, I don't know what that one is. So we're gonna be good to go. Whoops. That tab. All right. So that busted that one out for us. Excellent. Strength of Corruption. I think we're gonna need a few more. Okay. Now what we're going to do is continue our journey by walking up to the Yeti. So right now we are at we're a little more than about halfway of what my plan was for today. So we're going to just feel it out and see how long it takes us to do this Yeti questing. That's all. Because I think if I try to cram it all into one episode, it's going to maybe be a little too long. Like a little uncomfortably long, but I don't know. It's pretty close because... Well, I guess let's just see how long this one takes us, because this is going to be pretty easy. Like if you look at what we have left here. Okay, let's see what I really want to do. Okay, to the top, that's super easy peasy. That'll just take us a couple minutes. When we're right there, we go up, we jump down. Not a big deal. Okay. When we turn in that, we have to get to Booty Bay. So, traveling over to Booty Bay from here to flying up to Ratchet, that's going to take, 7-ish minutes. So maybe 10 minutes to get there. Then the turn in is pretty easy peasy. So, but then once we're there, I would also like us to fly from there to Badlands and be able to talk to the trainer. If we do that, we're talking another 15 minutes right there. So just in traveling, we're looking at maybe 30-ish minutes of time. There's not a lot I can do about that. And then I could hearth back and get myself ready to fly back to Desolus if that was how oh man, I got turned around. If that's how I ended an episode. I hate that when that happens. Sometimes I hit one of those routes and then I turn my camera to try to get around it and I don't notice I've literally put my car in reverse. Okay. Improved quality and pristine Yeti hide is what we are going to go knock out right now. We're going to see. My guess is it's going to take us somewhere in the neighborhood ballpark of 20-ish minutes. And then we have the Muisek, which is going to be quick. That's quick. You just got to kill 7 of those dudes. So that's 10-ish minutes. Plus the walk back, 15, and turning that in. And then Vengeance on the North Spring and the Dark Heart. Also pretty easy, 15-ish. It's just I think it's so we're looking at like probably an hour, and then plus also traveling up into Desolus and picking up all of those quests. So we're looking at like an hour 15, probably an hour 15, hour 20, not counting the Yeti. And the Yeti right now, by the time we get there, we're going to be at about 50. I think the Yeti one will take us maybe 20 minutes between now, like 15. We're going to really see how it goes. Part of it is this fact that we're going to have to walk all the way back to it at some point. I think we're going to do it slightly different. Yeah, my guess is we're going to accomplish this and not even go back to base. Then I'm going to walk over here on the road, getting ready to go back out, and that's going to be where we're stopping. So it'll make our episode a pinch short today. With not a lot accomplished, but it'll set us up for 100%. We're going to be able to finish on the next episode. Like I said, this one is... there's some RNG to it. Whereas this is automatically we just kill 7. Automatically we kill 12. There is RNG with dropping the Horn of Hate Talon. Actually we kill 16. But I would imagine we will probably get it within our 16 drops. And if we do, it's irrelevant and then it's a quick kill. But there's a tiny wild card right there. But other than that, there's no RNG needed. On the next episode, too, when we start getting up there, I will talk. I already did it on the Alliance episodes, but I will review again what's in store for us in Maraudon and what a Maraudon run will look like. Yeah, it's this travel. I kind of felt this at the end of the last episode yesterday. I was like, the traveling is going to hurt us a little bit. Now, coming up in our near future, as I finish Feralas, and I think I will hopefully... Fellwood, and I hope I'll finish it soonish. I don't know, should I go down there? I think so. Ajara will be coming up, which that's a quick one. That one we should be able to stay ahead of the curve. Especially with some extra questing. And then that will lead to Ungoro Crater. Ungoro Crater is probably going to give us... That's a medium length zone, I feel. So we have a chance at getting slowed down there. Before Blasted Lands, I believe Blasted Lands is a relatively small zone. It's a small, more difficult zone. Alright, here we are. I'm going to start killing these Yeti. Gotta do this strategically. Actually, these Yeti are positioned such that I can start busting some totems out. It's gonna aggro me. I just didn't want him to go get one of my totems. Right, he's gonna aggro anyway. Here's the third one coming. This looks like he's gonna aggro too. Probably should have done some fire toteming on this, but alright, I'm getting hit with something. Rend flesh, a bleed. Hey. With the totems, it's not that bad. Whoops, I accidentally looted. I hear someone stealthing around. That is gotta be a player character. Maybe they're escaping from the cave. There it is. It's a night elf druid doing questings of their own. Alright, so we did get one. How many do we need? Oh, and we get them from skinning. So this means that we basically get 2 cracks at the there we go, we got 3. we get 2 cracks at the hide every time, so that's pretty dang good. So this quest is actually going to go a lot faster than I anticipated for us. Okay. And it makes it very, that makes it very tempting to see, but we still have to get the pristine Yeti hide to drop. Got a 4th hide right there. And a 5th. Got 2 hides off 1. So this is a quest where it is quite advantageous to be a skinner. If I stick to just 1, my mana consumption shouldn't be as crazy. That bleed, though. Don't love that. Alright, so that was... we got nothing on either that time. I just want to kind of stay near this so that my mana can get a little bit... I'd like to not have to drink. That's probably going to happen. There's another guy coming down the pipe. In the pipe. We're going to go for level the fun most. Yeah, Ungoro Crater at 51. That's probably a good pick. Because I'd say anything in the tier we're at right now, but I would say Felwood. I wouldn't say that's level the fun most. And I would not say Ajara is level the fun most either. So, and I wouldn't say Blastland. So Ungoro Crater is a good pick. What's this? Let's check this out. Alright, so this is a decent healing male, 258 with 26. Still doesn't touch the Guzrilla scale armor I've been wearing. Okay, we got another hide. We're already up to 6. And up to 7. That skinning is just... that really helps it. So any other character that's not a skinner, you are obviously, as you can see, we've gotten like 5 of our 7 from skinning. So probably best bet skinning. Yeah, so that, and then that'll bring us to a tier. At the end of that tier, we will do Sunken Temple, which, as I've talked about before, I consider that to be the final, like, end game, or not end game dungeon. The final dungeon where you're not really going there for end game, you're just going there because it's a nice leveling dungeon when you're in your 50s, or low, like low 50s even. So that's nice. And then we'll be finally entering that final tier, which we will begin with Western Plaguelands, which is, you know, Western Plaguelands is good. It's kind of a transition over to endgame for us. So, and some could argue it could be in the tier that we're talking about right now, as like I just suggested, questing at 51 in Western Plaguelands. And that's a valid argument. Oh my gosh, we have 9 of 10. But we have not gotten that improved hide, so all is for naught, all of this great speed, when at the end of the day, it won't matter if we don't have the perfect Yeti hide drop from these guys, because we have not had that drop. Okay, so we did get our 10 without the drop. We can skin them. Alright, so it is now time to dig deeper into the cave to see, are we going to be able to Well, we need to get our perfect Yeti hide. So this is where the RNG comes in to play. We had a great drop rate. If you're just doing this quest and don't care about the other stuff. This person's name is Kill Ya. I'm gonna kill ya. So this just says they can't drop it, but I don't think that's true. If I'm being real, I believe they can. Because I've had one drop for me. I think we did on the last episode. We had one of ours dropped from these guys. It says Ferocious Rage Scar can drop it. Maybe that's true? But I'm pretty sure it can drop from any. We'll have to, I guess, look this up. And I'll kill a few. We'll look it up in a minute here. We'll get to a spot where we need to rest. I'm pretty sure you can get it from any of these dang people. And I'm pretty sure we did on the other episode. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it didn't. Oh, there you go. We just got it. Okay. So that was really quick. Way quicker than I thought. We are at... yeah, that took us in total 11 minutes to travel there and complete the quest and get our drop. Let's do the perfect Yeti hide quest pickup. You have found what may very well be a perfect Yeti hide. You easily note that it is exceptionally thick and sturdy, more so than even the ones you've seen from the Yeti and Rage Scar. Considering that Jangdor Swiftstrider at Camp Mojache is in the market for Yeti hides, this particular one may be of considerable interest to him. Alright, so that is this is a repeatable one too. It's very similar. This pristine perfect, it's just called, other than that, it is the exact same. It's, for whatever reason, it is called pristine if you are Alliance. It is also a drop quest. Should add that on to our run. It is a repeatable drop, although I don't know why you would farm it. The rep is probably Tauren rep, I guess, Thunderbluff rep. But there are, I mean, maybe, I guess, if you were really, I just don't, as you can see, it's not the best. But I guess if you were just going to grind it anyway. But then every time you'd have to go turn it in. You'd have to go run back because you can only have one at a time. Because I have had other runs where I've had like 3 drop in the one set that I need to kill. Alright, so I'm trying to get back up on the road. Like I said, we're going to walk up. And I think it's probably about, even though this puts us on the slightly short side of an episode today, next episode, like I said, we'll do this, which would be quick, and then we'll do those two. So altogether, between these 3 things, we'll spend maybe 30 minutes wrapping up Deathless. Then we'll come back and walk. That's a 5+ minute walk. And turn in those quests, and then we will fly over to Ratchet. So that and then take the boat over and turn in. That combo of things is maybe going to be 45 minutes. And then we will fly up to Badlands and walk, so we'll be up to about an hour. Then we'll hearth and fly back and pick up all the Deathless quests. So I could potentially go over here and start doing some of these, but I don't really think it's going to plop us over into the middle of the zone. Like, we want to go up there. I don't necessarily want to start getting closer. I think this is just where we have to cut it off, because otherwise if we cut out some of the things I don't want to do, we could wrap everything up right now. Like, if we just did these 2 quests and then went to Booty Bay and cut it right there, we could stretch this out, but then we're cutting off some of the things I really want to do. So the next episode is really going to be like this plus a Maraudon setup. But it's going to be like a transition one. Alright, so I think this is where we're going to call it today. I appreciate you guys for joining me on this journey. We are really close, knocking on the door, finishing Feralas, and then starting Maraudon, which is the first X-Pack dungeon that was added. It was released. We'll talk about that whenever we cover our Chronicles coverage of it very, very soon in just a few days. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming with me, joining in on this other episode of Lore of Warcraft, which is now in the pipe 5x5.